So it is good to be back. This is the last night of the tour. Good to be back in Glasgow. Good to come back to Glasgow because you can speak. You know, when you travel with a Scottish accent, it's kind of hard. Nobody understands anything you're saying. No, I've done a few TV shows. I'm a pretty fucking big deal. You know? I'm serious news. No, I've done a few TV shows. And you've got a Scottish accent on the telly, you need to try and enunciate and use proper English, but it's hard to find the right balance, because no matter how hard you try to enunciate and use proper English, there's still somebody from Leamington Spa. We saw you on the television. I didn't quite understand everything you were saying. Didn't quite catch it. Some of it a bit over my head. Your accent is really quite strong. You've got a really thick Scotch accent. Didn't quite catch everything you said. Whilst there's somebody in Scotland saying, we seen you on the telly talking like a fucking bender. Care to explain yourself? It's when you travel down south and you tell people you're from Glasgow, they get quite excited. They go, Glasgow, yeah, it's really quite rough, isn't it? Really violent, yeah. And you kind of get proud. And you go, oh, aye, oh, aye. Yeah, a lot of tough guys. Oh, aye, a lot of tough guys. Yeah. And they visit the place and they're a bit disappointed. No, we're trying to get away from the stereotypes. We've got a new promotional tourist campaign called Glasgow, Scotland with Style. Everybody's seen the posters. It's one of these kind of homogenised posters of people supposed to be the new face of Glasgow. People with names like Nathan. You know, every major city advertises the happy people like Nathan, and it's this guy's in the poster, Nathan, sales assistant, proud Glaswegian. I don't think a sales assistant called Nathan is a fair representation of any major city. I think major cities should play up to their stereotypes on the billboards advertising your city. Show them real people like wee mental Davy. Apprentice joiner. Father of 6. Davy's there in the billboard with the 6 kids all tucked into the one tracksuit. A Lacoste tracksuit, and only the best for these kids. They're all dressed up for their granny's 30th. You've got the 6 kids, you've got Keanu, you've got Sigourney. Destiny, that's a new one I heard. Destiny. Imagine naming your daughter after the nightclub she was conceived in. This is Destiny and this is my son, the garage. That was announced, a shock statistic about teenage pregnancy. Apparently 1 in 3 15-year-olds in the UK admit to being sexually active. That was a shock tabloid headline. I don't know where they get this kind of evidence. No, I don't know who they ask to get these statistics. No, if some youth worker approached you when you were 15 years old in front of all your pals and asked you if you were sexually active. You're doing fucking right, mate. Who's Shagger? Put me in for 5, pal. Did you never get any sex education at school? Remember word would spread when you were 15, if you went to the health centre, they gave you out condoms. That was good, you went down there, got the health centre, got your condoms. None of us were well sexed, but you got the condoms. Filled them up with water. They become water balloons. Using a condom in a water fight, the thinking man's water fight. But you'd always have one of your friends who would take it a bit too far and introduce a Durex Extra Safe. A Durex Extra Safe in a water fight? You'll fucking put somebody in a coma. A Durex Ribbed Extra Safe. You'll need facial reconstructions. I'm getting to that age, I'm 23 years old. I'm 23, not a lot of people believe that, I'm 23. I know in the west of Scotland, this is what a young guy looks like in this day and age. I'm 23. I look like a darts prodigy, don't I? I'm 23, so I'm getting to that stage. Some of my friends, some of my cousins are having children. And that way, you'll notice this, in a family gathering, there's a newborn baby getting passed around somebody's living room like a joint. And everybody's saying their piece. You know, some people who have just got this natural rapport when they speak to babies, they can just go, "Oh, look at you." Oh. And the baby starts mumbling, "Are you telling me a wee story?" It's getting closer and closer to me and I'm thinking, shit. I need to pretend I give a fuck. It gets to me and I just kind of freeze. I'm going, "Oh, how you doing, mate?" Then the baby feels the tension, starts to cry. Everybody looks at me as if I'm in the wrong here. "Oh, toughen up, you wee prick." Dogs as well, I feel uneasy in the presence of dogs. No dogs in the traditional sense, I mean dogs, right? Now you get a difference. In Scotland we call a dog a dog. We take that O and make it a U. A dog, a dog. It's a slang term, but it's also a social implication in that you get dogs and you get dogs. Do you know what I mean by that? You get, "Oh, look at that wee dog watching that fucking dog." One of the big council house terriers with a name like Sasha. Somebody brings it on a bus and it jumps on top of you on the bus and you shite yourself. And the owner's going, "Don't worry, she's only playing with you. Don't worry, she's just a big softie." And the dog's going, "You know that's a lie." This isn't over. I like animals, just feel uneasy amongst dogs. I was watching a documentary about animal testing, about toiletries and cosmetic products that get tested on animals. And it was showing you these horror stories about animals that get badly burned and disfigured. It was pretty distressing shit, right? But I'm quite a positive guy. I'm watching this, thinking, what about the happy stories? About cosmetic tests? What about the tests that were successful? What about the toiletries and beauty products that made it to the market? I want to turn on the TV and see the two chimpanzees in a laboratory cage somewhere saying, "You're smelling good, Chico." Is that Lynx Africa? Boom, Chico, wow, wow. 23, still live at home. Don't know if any young guys in the front, any of you still live at home? Young guys at the front, a guy up in block D said yes. 23, live at home. You don't need to pay rent and stuff like that, but you pay mental rent, don't you? I've always had a good relationship with my parents, especially my dad. Now when you're 7, 8, 9 years old, as a young guy, traditionally, your dad is your hero, isn't he? He's your role model. He knows everything. You want to follow in the guy's footsteps. You want to emulate the guy. Then you get to about 12 years old, you realise your dad's an arsehole. It's a perfectly natural stage in adolescence, discovering that your dad's a bit of a knob. That's just what happens. Normally happens on Christmas Day and involves building something.